Ngobeni and Mike Skeppers to talk more about what we've seen so far in the first half. Mike, 12-6, a lead for South Africa. Are we safe? Is this in the bag?
No, not by any stretch of the imagination. I think going into half-time, even with a 1-point lead, we would have taken. So I think 6 is right on the money. It could have been 15. That Tonrad Pollard right at the start, that penalty that he missed. What struck me there was how tentative he was. He settled beautifully after that, but I think that was just an indication of some of the nerves. He almost tried to steer the ball between the uprights, but since then has had practically a flawless game.
But I mean, I was saying to Heidi, the mood here, quite electric. All these people behind us, with every bit of dramatic action, responding in just as a dramatic fashion. Many of them came out of here, they were here, what, about 8 o'clock this morning? We're now going towards midday. Is this the kind of vibe you guys usually have?
I'm surprised to be a lot of them are still standing. Because when you got here at 6 in the morning and, you know, there's people start trickling in, and I was worried that they're not going to actually make their game. However, you know, it's the tension. You can feel it. You know, it's almost like what's happening on the field there in Japan is now permeated to all corners of South Africa and wherever the South African fans are. But then again, the cheers every time the Springboks do something good. You know, it's almost like urging this team forward. It's giving them that extra spring in their step. And even though we've lost two or three players already through injury, these guys are, you know, the fans are really sticking behind their team. And you know, you can almost see that the Springboks have taken in all the message of support, all the energy that has come from South Africa, and they're almost playing with these 57 million people behind them.
Did we see this coming, Mike? Did we expect to make it all the way to the final?
You know, that's in hindsight one can say yes, absolutely. However, I think with Rusty, the build-up to the World Cup, you know, with the tests against England and France, Argentina and so on, I think that's when he really started to create a force of optimism in the country, and that's just been swept on the closer we've gotten to the World Cup. That first game against New Zealand, I think, even though we lost that pool game, what was critical was the way in which Coach Rusty, his management and team responded. No panicking, you know, it took it on the chin and then got back down to business. You know, no write-offs. It's, okay, let's see what we need to do now to win our next match and so on. So, really handled pressure with a very, very calm head.
That's how many drinks do you think the coaches had to have just to keep calm?
I tell you, I hope they had none. I really hope they had none. It's a critical part of the game now. This halftime chat is critical. You know, what Rusty says to his team is going to be very, very important. He must be careful not to say too much and be overbearing on the players, but also must be wary of not saying nothing at all. You know, he's got to find a balance in the right words to use to the players, and not to scare them and not to put too much pressure on them. I think the players have done fantastically well in the first half. All he's going to say to them now is just go out. You're 40 minutes away from glory.
But if I could just tag into what you said there, the halftime talk is absolutely crucial. It's critical because one has to then look at what's happening in the England dressing room also. And so to say, you know, we need to go out and do the next 40 minutes like we did the first is a problem. We actually need to ramp it up because, and I hope that's the message Rusty will be giving his team, because England are going to come out and throw the kitchen sink and everything else they can find at us. They're going to ramp that intensity up, and if we don't stay a step ahead, then we could see this game slip away from us.
But I will just come out and say I'm not much of a sport viewer, but here we are today because this is a national victory that we are hoping for today. And how much of that, Mike, depends on the coach and how much of it is on the players?
I think it's an even split, it's an even spread. You know, a team doesn't win a World Cup, a squad wins it, and if one wants to extend that, you can say a nation wins it. If you look at, I mean, we looked at the build-up this week and what's happening around the country today. So no, that one team or just management, it's too great a burden, and it actually is not the way it works. It has to be, because it's a joy. That kind of pressure is actually a joy. This is what every rugby player and coach dreams of, the absolute pinnacle of this game. So the pressure and the desire to win gets spread throughout the management and team, and that's what gets us over the line.
And that's how the country needs this win.
Oh, we were saying earlier with Jamie when you're speaking, you know, about, you know, Eto's and Moody's. and you
The
know,
budget, the crime.
ESCOM. You know, it's just this never-ending. You know, it's a tsunami of depression. You know, and this one moment, and as much as it's about a rugby game, it's more than just a rugby game. You know, this is what South Africa needs. It reminds us of that dream that Nelson Mandela had for his country. You know, it reminds us about, as different as we are, you know, different cultures and colors and so on, you know, the most important thing is when united, we can achieve so much. You know, when you see the people here, you know, young, old, black, white, you know, no one cares. There's one thing they want, it's for the Springbok to win. And winning is not just winning on the field, it's winning for the country. You know, it's giving hope. It's giving hope to Megillah because it's so important. It is so important for this country to go forward. It's so important for this country to come out of where it is at the moment.
And, you know, Mike, we're going to go back now to Hyde Park in a moment, but I think we're talking about ESCOM. If you're looking for a CEO who can motivate the staff, here is our Vatango Beni. We're willing to loan him to you in exchange for the lights staying on. Aaron, that is it from Pirates Rugby Club for now, but we'll speak to you again later.